Y'all know J.K. Rowling is a transphobe, right?
I'm a non-binary man.
History was just made. Breaking gay news.
All right, everybody, it's time for everyone's favorite part of Damage Control, where I react to insane LGBT TikToks and subject myself to torture, killing my own brain cells for your entertainment value in simple hopes that you might reward me with a like or a subscribe. But if you just enjoy watching my suffering and don't want to reward it, that's your choice too. Now let's get into it, because I don't know how long I'll be able to keep this up. Up first, more unhinged TikTokers ranting about J.K. Rowling.
Y'all know J.K. Rowling is a transphobe, right?
No.
I see so many people on here still supporting Harry Potter, like, Harry Potter, yay! And I'm like, you realize that the author is a transphobe. Like, she actively says the most horrendous, horrifying, disgusting things about trans people, specifically trans women, on X, right? Twitter. You get that. How do you still support it? How do you still perform that music? How do you still read those books? How do you still watch this shit? How do you still talk about Harry Potter? You know that she actively is doing things to hurt the LGBTQ community. I love those things. I love the whole franchise. But I can't support it because it hurts my siblings. I can't. How do you do this? How do you do that? Do you just not know? Are you just willfully ignorant? Are you trying to say, like, separate the artist from the art? What?
I am so tired. I'm so tired of this, y'all. You notice how when they make these little videos, they never actually mention anything J.K. Rowling has had to say about any of this? That's because her position on trans issues is pretty centrist. It's pretty moderate. She pushes back on the far left. She's got a very sex-based, independent perspective about women's only spaces that's actually informed by her past as an abuse survivor. But she's also not far right. Like, she's not a Matt Walsh of the world, genuinely, who you could say is transphobic. She fully respects the rights and autonomy of transgender adults. Again, they never cite her actual statements. And I did a whole episode about J.K. Rowling. You can go back in the Damage Control archives on YouTube or podcast or whatever. And I went through the statements that have gotten her in trouble, her tweets and everything. And they're not hateful. You might disagree with things about them, bits or pieces here. They're not hateful. They do not exhibit blind animus or anything. And it's just a article of faith among these woke TikTokers that she is a transphobe, but they never actually justify that belief. It's just the kind of thing they all keep repeating and repeating, and so it must be true. It's not true, and it really never has been. They're just demonizing this woman because they viewed her as on their team, and then she turned out to have some different opinions on some things. And for all their talk about feminism and supporting women, listen to women, they couldn't handle that. They couldn't handle a liberal woman disagreeing with them on one issue in some nuanced ways. A few months ago, I listened to The Witch Trials of J.K. Rowling, a series put out by my friends over at the Free Press, Barry Weiss's new outlet, where they interviewed Rowling and they did an extensive series looking into her life and controversies and work. And I'll tell you, the picture that emerges is not of a bigot. It's not of somebody who hates trans people at all. When you listen to her views and her actual words, you see her nuanced concerns, but you also see her empathy and support for trans people as well. She's not the witch these folks have made her out to be. Not at all. But even if she was, like this dude hints at the end, you should be able to separate the art from the artist. I have a newsflash. If we were to go through and look at every author or playwright or person from history of hundreds of years ago and see if they have problematic views on gender or sexuality or race, almost all of them would. Because societal values and mores change over time. And so if you're not going to ever enjoy anything created by a problematic artist, you're never going to enjoy anything at all. And you're just a killjoy, and you're just closing your mind and closing yourself off to enjoyment and different ideas and different explorations of things that might, yes, have been created by somebody with a problematic view on a given issue. Grow up and stop this witch hunt against this woman. Up next, what is a non-binary man exactly?
I'm a non-binary man, which means to me that I'm a man in the same way that a thumb is a finger. Like, yeah, I hang out with the fingers in some contexts. I'm included in with the fingers. But ultimately, I'm not a finger. I'm a thumb. You know?
I just lost brain cells. If y'all are out there watching this and you just have no idea what's going on, don't beat yourself up, because I'm literally gay. I'm literally in the LGBT community, and I have no idea what this person just said or what it's supposed to mean. The concept of non-binary is in itself kind of inherently incoherent, but even let's just take it at face value. How can you be a non-binary man? Because if non-binary means what y'all say it means that you don't identify in the gender binary as a man or a woman. So you think... So then you can't be a non-binary man. That would be like me saying I am a heterosexual gay man. People would look at me like I'm crazy, because that makes no sense. I just am begging people to stop putting this nonsense out on the internet. You're begging to be picked up by libs of TikTok. You're begging to get yourself dragged on Damage Control. You're begging to get yourself roasted by the Queen, Blair White. And you're putting out a face and a message to the on behalf of the LGBT community that is incredibly divisive, that makes no sense, and that is going to sabotage public support. So no hate to this person individually. I hope that they figure out things and get to grips with themselves in a way that makes a little bit more sense. But I would just kindly ask that you maybe stop posting things on the internet for a while, because you're giving our community a bad rap with this kind of nonsense, and you clearly have some stuff you need to figure out first. Up next, woke LGBTs are celebrating the appointment of the first black lesbian senator ever. Take a listen.
History was just made. Breaking gay news after the oldest senator and queer ally passed away.
Harvey Milk have been shot and killed.
Can't believe I get to say this.
LGBTQ history.
Time for you to meet the country's first black lesbian to ever serve in Congress.
So I say it all the time, like put down the crack pipe as a joke, but like his vibe, his energy, he might actually be hitting the crack pipe. So Joshy baby, please get help. That's not healthy for you. Did y'all notice what he never said during that video? Her name or anything about her as a person or her accomplishments or her achievements? It's not just him. It's not just this one TikTok dude. Throughout the internet, throughout the media, all the headlines about LaFonza Butler, who has been appointed by California Governor Gavin Newsom to fill the seat of the late Senator Dianne Feinstein, all the headlines are just first black lesbian woman. And look, that's fine. I think that representation does matter, and it is notable that she is the first black lesbian senator. But there's something deeply reductionist about this identity-obsessed worldview where, he put it in text on the screen, but he literally didn't say her name. She's just a token. She's just member of X diversity group. Is that really progress? Are we counting that as progressive now? Because that seems to me tokenizing, reductionist, and not progressive in any meaningful sense of the word. Doesn't talk about her background as a union organizer and leader. Doesn't talk about her background as a abortion activist. Any of the things that she will actually bring to this office that are relevant to voters and the public. Just her pigment of her skin, just her sexual orientation, these things that really shouldn't matter at all, are the only thing about this person that any of these people care about. Now, I obviously can't put myself exactly in her shoes, but I would be offended by that. I would feel tokenized and reduced and put into boxes by that, not uplifted or progressified or celebrated. It's especially insulting because California Governor Gavin Newsom, who appointed her, literally said he would only appoint a black woman. So she may have been the most qualified person. I don't know that much about LaFonza Butler, but she may have been the most qualified progressive person to fill the seat that represents the state's values. I don't know. But what I do know is that this appointment is tainted by the fact that Gavin Newsom ruled out a majority of the potential candidates who in California are either white or a man in some form. And then of the few people that were left who met this criteria, he picked her. That's actually kind of a slap in the face. It's actually saying, like, you weren't good enough for me to just pick you based on your merit without these arbitrary categories elevating you to a special status that I then picked from a very limited pool. I would find that offensive. I would find that reductionist. And I imagine she probably does. I mean, she's not going to pass up a Senate seat, but wouldn't you have liked to live in a world where she got appointed because she was the best person for the job? Not because of the pigment of her skin or because of her sexual orientation. And then just the identity obsessed way the media and social media have run with this story. And I just find it exhausting. And I don't think it's actually progressing us as a society. They're constantly reinforcing the importance of these characteristics and throwing them in our face. The headline should be LaFonza Butler, former union activist and abortion advocate, appointed to fill Dianne Feinstein's late Senate seat. And then somewhere in the story mentioned that she will be the first Black lesbian to be in the Senate or something. But instead, they're making everything about identity, and they're throwing this in people's faces, and they're enshrining further the differences and significance of these things that we should really want to fade into irrelevance. I don't find it productive. I find it, frankly, kind of offensive and tokenizing, and I actually think this approach is doing far, far more harm than good.